What up, though? It's your man, Rondough, and I'd like to welcome you to the podcast, Bird Looking Ass. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get right into it. As you can see, if you tuned in for the visual, we got the championship belt on today. We got the Intercontinental title, and that's strictly because of the Montgomery Brawl. Go ahead and set him to the side. So unless you've been living under a rock for the past couple of days, you definitely heard about that scrap up that they had down in Alabama. Excuse me. But before we get to that, let me first thank you and welcome you to tuning in to the podcast. Here on Bird Looking Ass, we like to discuss different facets of culture, whether it's movies and music, fashion, and whatever's happening in the news that affects us and those like me. Today you tuned in, and we're going to get right to these topics. I just wanted to get that intro out of the way. So, apparently there was a situation down in Montgomery, Alabama. I don't remember exactly when it jumped off. I want to say Saturday. Let me see. I'm trying to find something to read up on it. Or I'm trying to find some news where I can read off of it to you all to see what it's talking about. Because I don't want to just be speaking about what I think I saw. But what I'm probably going to end up doing is just reading out something from online. But first, let me tell you what I seen. From what I gathered in the beginning, a ferry boat was trying to dock, and this other boat was in the way. The worker from the ferry boat hopped off and asked those guys to move they boat so they can land or park or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I guess the white guys did not take too kindly to the way they were being talked to or who was talking to them. I'm not completely sure. What I do know, and this is the God's honest truth, I tried to avoid watching that video. I want to say Saturday or Sunday is when it's Saturday. I tried to avoid it all weekend. Like, I don't like that type of energy. I don't like that type of situation, to be completely honest. Like, it's bad news, it's negative energy. And you can't always avoid them situations. Sometimes they just come about and you gotta deal with it. But because I wasn't directly, or because I felt I was not directly connected to that situation, it didn't bother me as much, and I tried to avoid it for as long as I could. Then I fuck around and Jay hit my line and he got to telling me about it, and he kept going on about it. So I'm like, all right, I guess this is something I'm gonna have to look into. This went from something that could have been potentially dangerous as hell to a meme-worthy situation for the year 2023. In order to speak somewhat on the situation, I had to read up a little bit, and I did have to watch some video. And when I tell you that this was some of the most comical shit I've seen in a very long time, and I'm not even sure if it should be, but god damn. They must have said something to Black Buddy, who got off the ferry boat, because my man straight threw his hands up in the air with the hat. Like, he threw the hat up like, oh, it's up. You know what I'm saying? That nigga said it's up. When it's up, it's up. And that, like, he get to throwing him. He fighting off a couple of cats. One dude standing there while he threw that one. He fought the one buddy with his shirt off. Then they all get to brawling. The highlight of the whole situation is apparently there was another black guy on the ferry boat. My man hopped off the ferry boat and swam across to the dock to help my man. as well as other black people, just started coming out of the woodworks. And it turned into a real life race situation. And it's not funny. The race part is not funny. The brawling and the fighting, oh, now that's fucking hilarious. Because I'm sure they've been wiping the internet of all the video footage and everything. But I heard a woman got smacked with a folding chair because, yeah, folding chairs are all over TikTok now. They're selling out at Walmart and Home Depot. It's some of the funniest shit I've ever heard of. And it like that should let you know, if it don't tell you nothing, racism is still a real thing in the States. Racism is still a real thing in America. America is the only places that pull that racist shit like that. You go to other countries, you're just another fucking person. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some places that don't play that shit. We're not gonna be naive. But I mean, America, the United States, we the only location that has to segregate everything and everyone and want to pretend like we don't. It's sad. Because this is exactly what that was. Guaranteed them white dudes was down there on some drunk shit, acting a fool. When Black Buddy pulled up, he could have said something out of pocket. He could have been talking to them crazy. But I feel like, and this is just my opinion, but I feel like them white boys, knowing how they get down, especially when they drinking and they around the water, they got bigger than they britches, as my granddaddy would say. They started getting out their body. And you can tell that Black Buddy was trying to hold his composure because my man, he just got fed up. He threw his hat up in the air, and that was like the signal to everybody in the area. It's up right now. And there were a few arrests made as of today. I believe they said 3 men involved in the Montgomery melee face assault charges. I'm not sure which 3 that is, but let's see if we can get a little quick. I don't know. I mean, potentially, but I'm not sure what 3 guys got involved or the 3 guys that are getting charged. But I know that they're getting charged. I heard that a white woman got smacked with a chair. I do not condone violence, none whatsoever. But this brawl that happened is definitely going down as one of the top 5 moments of 2023, without a doubt. I mean, you gotta consider it. You gotta consider the whole situation. Black man was at work trying to do his job, and he was getting hassled and harassed by these drunk white dudes who I can guarantee you was talking crazy or getting crazy with this man. And it sucks because that's the type of shit they do. They in Alabama, so I know they thought they had the right of way. I know they thought it was sweet. They probably thought Buddy was a chump too because he's at work. Like, they tried to play my man, and that shit wasn't even necessary. It was actually kind of fucked up. But we already know that's how these people get down at times. I hate to make it like that. I'm just speaking from what I know, my real life experiences, and what the news is telling me. But we're going to take a quick break, go pay a couple of bills. When we come back, and we back. Thank you for staying tuned in. So I just did a quick little research run through the internet, checking out some news sites and checking some clips about the melee that took part this weekend. It was so this is the crazy part. After going through the clips and reading about it, what they're saying is they couldn't find any evidence that it was racially driven. They couldn't find any evidence that it was a riot inciting situation. They detained 13 people originally. There were 3 arrests made and probably more arrests to come. The 3 men that were involved that were already charged are Richard Roberts, white guy, Alan Todd, I'm assuming white guy, and Zachary Shipman, white guy. One of the three have already turned themselves in. The co-captain, the black guy, was a co-captain of the ferry boat. The white guys, most likely illegally or at least ignorantly, parked their pontoon boat where the ferry boat needed to get off the dock. The co-captain waited 40 to 45 minutes for these individuals to move their boat, and they didn't. He proceeded to untie the rope and let the boat move, you know what I'm saying, so they can dock. And I guess that's where the situation got crazy. It's sad to think that shit like that still goes on, because whether they don't want to admit it or not, and it seems like they don't want to admit it, that had everything to do with race. Because as those white guys proceeded to try to jump, I forget the gentleman's name, forgive me, the co-captain, as they tried to jump the co-captain, he just said to hell with it and started to defend himself. While doing so, other black people in the area saw and came to his aid. They came to his rescue because he was outnumbered originally. And again, shout out to Big Homie that jumped off the ferry and swam across to do work. Like he's the real MVP. Finally, there's a situation where we are verbally attacked. There's visual evidence to support the claims that we were the ones attacked first. And in my opinion, they're trying to underplay it. They're trying to downplay the whole situation. Like, how you gonna say it's not racially motivated? Them guys was drunk and they was talking crazy. I hate that people act like racism isn't a thing. And the simple fact that when other black people came to try to break it up, other white people tried to stop it. Like, it was a mess. It was just a whole fucking mess down there when that situation took place. I really didn't want to fucking talk about it because, like I said, that type of shit vexes my spirit. And lately, I've been in an uncomfortable mood and I don't even understand why. I'm in a good place. I'm eating good. I'm financially supported. Like, I'm working. I got the podcast up and running. My baby girl is doing good. Shout out my baby Nene. What's up, baby? Like, I should be straight, but yeah, and still, like, I don't know if it's just the enemy trying to get at me or what's going on, but this is the best position, pause, that I've been in my life. And it's like, I have so much anger and I don't even understand why. It's not towards any one person either. It's just collectively, people are starting to fucking annoy me. People play dumb or act stupid, or maybe they're not playing. Maybe they're not acting. My whole thing is, I can't deal with that shit. Hanging around dumb people will make you dumb. Don't get that shit twisted. Like, I try to surround myself around good people, good vibes, positive energy. Like, that's a real thing. I try to keep my circle like that. And shit's been falling off. Like, I can't even fake it. Like, I'm starting to sit back and like double pump. Like, is it me? So I had to sit back and look at me and reevaluate myself and what I've been doing. And I've cut some shit out. I changed some things up. It was a necessity. It was very much important that I make these changes to benefit myself and my future. I'm not sure, but I don't know too many people that want to grow up to be fuck ups. You feel me? I don't have time for it. I ain't had time for it since 2010. I've been making my damnedest attempt to get everything lined up perfectly since 2015. And sometimes you gotta take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. I get it. But then again, you also get tired of hearing all them fucking cliches. You just wanna see results. You want action. You want something to take place. Wishing ain't shit. Hoping ain't nothing. You gotta do it. You can pray and all that. You still gotta show work. Sorry, I got off topic. I just needed to vent that part because I know I'll feel better after that. But I know that I'm being attacked. I just don't know why. But that's what happens. When things get to going well for you, he gonna try to chop you down at the knees. Are you gonna be ready? Are you gonna be prepared? And can you get over that hump? Because that's all it is. It's just a hurdle. My thing is, I know my weakness, and so do my enemies. And I've been hoping, there go that word again, and praying that I become better with this whole attitude and, you know, just the way that I feel about things and people lately. Because I don't want to be considered like the asshole, because that's definitely how it's coming off. To the point where now it's like the boy who cried wolf. Like, I've only showed you one side. So why would you not think that I'm not that? It's fucked up. Because you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but I've only shown you one page. So now when you hear something that sounds like me, you don't even have to second guess it. And then when I feel attacked, anyway. While we're here, I'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Hennessy. Y'all must have forgot. Yeah, we still drink hen dog around here. Mix it with the red beezy. I don't know what they call it. Hey Alexa, what do they call Red Bull mixed with Hennessy?
From runonflux.io. It is a non-carbonated energy drink called Creating Diane, Red Bull.
What is hey Alexa, what is it called when you mix Hennessy with Red Bull?
From logodatabases.com. They have also been introduced to the market new cocktail recipes, as Hennessy combined with the energy drink Red Bull to form Crunk Juice, a cocktail popularized by musical artists such as Lil Jon and Ying Yang Twins. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Thanks for your feedback.
There you have it. Alexa said Red Bull mixed with Hennessy is called Crunk Juice. Ain't that a bitch? I did not know that. Fun fact, they were selling something called Crunk Juice back in like 03, 04. But it was more similar to just a supercharged Red Bull. No liquor was in it. They also were selling something called Pimp Juice. Pause, I don't know. But I digress. I wish nothing but hope and I hope for nothing but blessings and healthy recovery for all the people that was involved in that situation. I didn't want to be a dick, but I gotta mention the chair. Yeah, that chair might be the real MVP. Also, along with, did someone get rock bottom for real? Did somebody really get rock bottom? I heard that, but I don't know. I'm about to rewatch the video. But as you can see, so y'all know we not just out here sending you off. I gave y'all my opinion and what I heard at first. And then after we came back from commercial, I told you the facts. So don't be out here talking about I'm sending niggas off, because I'm not. If you watch the whole shebang bang, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But we're going to go ahead and take a pause. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the Lizzo scandal. Now, this might be that shit. Because I can honestly tell you what I thought it was, then I can tell you what it turned out to be. And it's still ongoing. But I gotta say, I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. Not at all. And I'll let you know when we come back. Damn, I keep bumping the mic. I'll let you know when we come right back. All right, y'all, hold on. And we back. Thank you for staying tuned in. It's your boy Rondough, and you are clocking in with the podcast Bird Looking Ass. And out here, you know, we represent the West Side, which is the best side, with the THC, my favorite kind of tree. This right here is, I don't know, I ain't gonna even hold you. It's some Za. I can tell you that much. My tray and shit over there. I'll show you maybe on the next segment. But I just wanted to shout out the Treehouse, which is where we record, the studio. And just to remind you, like, the only way off in the Treehouse is you gotta have a tree to get in. THC is the place for me. So to get right back into it, I wanted to I wanted to talk about how Lizzo just did herself all the way in. So Lizzo just got sued by an ex-backup dancer August 1st. Then she was sued by 3 former backup dancers alleging, okay, let me get this right. The first one was August 1st. She was being sued by dancers for demoralizing, weight shaming, and sexual harassment allegations. Next was on the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. On the 2nd, August 2nd, Lizzo was sued by 3 former dancers alleging harassment. The next day, which was the 3rd, Lizzo said she's not the villain, according to those claims. August 4th, in a 4-day span, fans said they were disappointed after hearing about the lawsuit. Pretty much saying, I guess, in so many words, that they believe like what they're hearing. And the claims are pretty outlandish. Lizzo being a bigger girl, we'll say that. I'm not calling her the BB Dub, because she, to me, is not that. She supposedly talked down to her backup dancers, or I guess one put on a little weight and she like embarrassed her. And then a couple of, I guess she did it a few times and ended up firing the girl. I did see her in the interviews when the situation first came up originally. I remember thinking like, I remember saying it wasn't gonna be that big of a deal. But then I watched it the rest of that night, and I woke up the next morning and I remember thinking like, yo, this shit finna be crazy. Like, I knew originally from the jump she was gonna lose fans, she gonna lose endorsements, because it's just how she presents and carry herself. Like, she was on the grind and the struggle too long. She worked too hard to get to where she is to let anybody throw her off. You feel me? She took too much of her life and her energy and her time to get where she is. And the pressures of staying on top, pause, can break a person down. You can only imagine. So yeah, I never thought that the allegations that were being raised against her were false. What I did think was those sexual allegations were her like forcing a dancer to sleep with her or some shit, or forcing a dancer to perform an act on her. That's what I assumed. Not that niggas was at a brothel somewhere and you made a motherfucker eat a banana that was in a girl vagina, like, or you made a girl touch another girl boobs. Like, is that sexual harassment for real, for real? Because, and this is where it gets tricky, because I've heard that Lizzo has these after parties after the sets, after the shows, and that it's invite only. So a lot of motherfuckers is waiting on them invites to get to them parties. And if it's at a brothel in Amsterdam or at a club in Amsterdam, you're still in Amsterdam. And maybe motherfucker wasn't with it when they got there. Maybe that's not even a cup of tea. You feel me? Maybe that's not their bag, baby. But you still pulled up. You know what you was in for. You at least had an idea. And yeah, Lizzo is your boss. But I don't think it was like boss vibes. I just think Lizzo took that power a little too far. I think she's a bossy motherfucker by nature, because most of them are. But yeah, according to the report, she lost over 220,000 Instagram followers behind this shit. Yeah. Might be night for Lizzo. But I had to switch lanes because according to reports as of about 2 hours ago, Tory Lanez is going to prison for 10 years. So let's run down this timeline real quick. Let's say August 9th. No, let's start from the beginning. What is this? Tory Lanez gets sentenced for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot on the 7th. They stretched it from yesterday to today. Or tomorrow. Tomorrow he gets 10 years in prison for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. Asks judge for mercy. Yeah, that's a tough call. Let's see if there's anything else that they're talking about. Because as of right now, look like Tory Lanez got 10 years. On Tuesday, Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge David Herringford, what is this? Sentenced Tory Lanez to 10 years in prison for shooting rapper Megan Thee Stallion in July 2020. In December, Lanez was found guilty of 3 felonies: assault with a semi-automatic firearm, having a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. I can't say that word. Negligence. Shut up. Anyway, the Canadian rapper, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, pled not guilty. Prosecutors sought a 13-year prison sentence in addition to potential deportation to his native Canada. As justification, they cited his lack of remorse, his campaign of misinformation and harassment against Megan, and his refusal to comply with the pretrial release. Last week, lawyers for Lanez called him to be released from prison and sent to a rehabilitation center where he could be placed on probation, according to the legal reporter Megan Knuff, who followed the case closely. While not admitting fault, lawyers did say, assuming the allegations are true, that his psychological, physical childhood trauma has a factor in the commission of the offense. Oh man. So yeah, Tory Lanez looks like he's getting 10 of them for shooting at Megan. Behind what? I don't even remember. But that's nuts. And this was almost to the day damn near 3 years ago. And he fought that case for as long as he could, but it was only so much fighting he could do. As you saw, remember he was putting up he had his pops in the news talking shit about Jay-Z and Rock Nation. buying off judges and like canoodling with lawyers and this and that nature. Like, bottom line, the boy, I don't know. I don't care about Tory Lanez, so I never took time to pay attention to that shit. But I imagine that he got caught up doing some dumb shit, got salty, pump faked that Megan with the blicky, and it went off. Or he might have bucked at her for real. My whole thing is I don't fuck with Megan either. She had a good nigga and my boy, is it Fontaine? P. Fontaine, like, she fucked that up. She was out here cracking niggas for tracks. I don't honor that shit. Shorty smashing for features. She fucked Tory, she fucked the baby, and had a good nigga. Got him out here looking bogus. That shit don't ever fly with your boy. We don't respect them kind around here. That's real shit. So, I mean, is he gonna do the whole 10? Only if he do some dumb shit in there. Thing is, Tory not trying to see no prison. Tory like 5'2", 5'3", receding hairline, hair plugs. Celebrity keeps him popping. Like, if this nigga go to prison for more than 3 years, it might be over for him. I'm just keeping it a buck. And he's Canadian, they gonna tear that boy alive. They gonna break him down, build him up again. Jesus Christ, man. Yeah. I hope the best for him. Like he trying to say like traumas and shit that he's been through in the past played a part into the situation that happened. They trying to get the man sent into a rehab for drugs, like whatever he gotta say he was on to get in that rehab and stay out of prison. I know he gonna try to pull it. I just don't think it's gonna work because according to reports, he ain't been trying to work with nobody. He ain't seemed apologetic. They said he's been slandering and giving out false information. He really hasn't worked with the court system or the case or the judge. Like, he's been a hindrance. He's been a problem. So, prosecutor wanted 13. Judge gave him 10. That should tell you. Man, I was kind of like dreading having to talk about that Lizzo shit. And right on time, that Tory Lanez shit popped up. For years, Tory Lanez has acted like he was above the law, and now reality has set in. He is a marginally talented, not that famous black man who used a gun in the state of California to shoot a defenseless woman. Now he wants God to bail him out. At the hearing, Lanez supporters included a jail chaplain who reportedly said that Lanez started a daily group prayer that has eased tensions in jail. And so now Tory out there doing his best R. Kelly impersonation. Remember when Kells got caught up? That nigga cut his braids off quick as hell and started writing the world's greatest. He got right back. Like, hey, I'm just saying. The thing about the penance, though, is that once... Okay, hold on. What is this saying? Amongst the 70-plus letters sent to the jail on his behalf, one fellow jailer claimed that with regards to the shooting, Lanez is remorseful and has talked in detail about the event and what he could have done to prevent it. Other supporters offered testimonials with praise of Lanez's apparent contribution to their early Balding community. They said he is very charitable and that he is now suffering financially as consequences of his actions. All of them were trying to help Lanez obtain the mercy and grace that he had never extended to Megan Thee Stallion, the victim of these crimes. He now wants to pray and have a pity party away. The thing about this, the one thing is that one must admit guilt in order to receive absolution. If I did it, it's cause I had a bad childhood and I drink too much. It's an excuse, not an admission of guilt or an apology. So, yeah. Sorry for the ramble and the low tone, but I was trying to, it's crazy. This right here, we're about to lose two of the greatest entertainers from the 2010s behind, dare I say it, attitude and anger. I'm talking to myself in this, where the pulpit, I'll read the scripture right now because I'm preaching. Attitude and anger. J. Cole said that shit best. Pride is the devil. If you don't get it in control, it will control you. And again, I am sincerely preaching to myself. So, with that being said, we're going to get ready and take a break. Might break something else down, roll something else up. When we come back, we're going to get real for real. And we're going to talk about losing a legend, an icon, passed away this week. The great Paul Rubens, a.k.a. Mr. Wee Herman. If you grew up watching television in the late 80s, the mid 80s to the late 80s, even some early 90s, you know who Wee Herman is. And that's the thing about life, man. You lose people all the time, but there are certain individuals that we lose and it affects us all. Wee Herman is one of those characters. Hell, he's more than a character. He's one of those individuals. So when we get back, we're going to give some flowers to the great Paul Rubens and discuss how Wee Herman influenced my childhood. Right back, y'all. And we back. Yeah. What up, y'all? I want to thank y'all for staying tuned in with your boy over here at Lookin, the podcast. You know what I'm saying? In association with 77 Tree Productions. This week we lost an icon. This week we lost the great Paul Rubens, a.k.a. Wee Herman. If you're unfamiliar with who Wee Herman is, back in the day, okay, I could describe him like this. This is the best way I can describe him. What's that little loud ass kid that used to be on Nickelodeon that was always doing all that screaming? Let me see if I can find him. This kid. Let me see if I can find his name. He's the super loud, annoying ass kid. He got that annoying ass voice. He's gonna pop right the fuck up as soon as I can't think of his name. Goddamn, it's not working. Wee Herman was just a character. Jump in the comments. Y'all know who I'm talking about, matter of fact. That annoying ass kid from Nickelodeon. He had like the orange shirt with the suspenders. He got that super high-pitched, squeaky ass voice. He do a lot of like physical comedy. He was a character. That's not how that person really acts in real life. That's what Wee Herman was. Wee Herman was a character, but he portrayed him as if he was a real individual. What's his name? Jeff? What was this annoying ass kid's me see if I can find the image because it's going to annoy me because I can't. Him. What's this? Fred. That goddamn boy Fred. The guy Fred from Nickelodeon, that was like Pee Wee Herman. It was a character that he portrayed. And Pee Wee made that character into a household name by the end of the 1980s. He started off as a performer in the sketch group The Groundlings. And Pee Wee Herman was a character that he would do in The Groundlings in sketches. And he ended up taking that and turning it into the multi-million dollar enterprise that it became. He wrote the first movie with Phil Hartman, R.I.P. The great Phil Hartman and Paul Rubens were in The Groundlings together, if I'm, not getting that mixed up. And it was Pee Wee Herman was an adult character that acted like a child, but did adult content in a childlike way. Pee Wee Herman was for adults, but he appealed to children. If you watch the movies, Pee Wee's Big Adventure or Pee Wee Big Top, the movies, those movies are for adults. It's just he has a childlike energy about him where it appeals. His comedy appeals to the youth. This is not something he wanted to continuously do. This was something that he was good at doing. And then there was a scandal. He went through his whole, okay, so let's get the shows lined up first. The Pee Wee Herman Show ran from 1980 to 1992. He originally auditioned for Saturday Night Live in 1980-81, but was not accepted into the cast. Instead, he started a stage show with the Herman character and made one of his first appearances in the 1980 film Cheech and Chong's Next Movie. He played a rude receptionist. He first played a rude receptionist, spewing obscenities at police and being arrested. The character is later introduced as Pee Wee Herman, approaching the stage just before disputing the film's title characters again. I gotta look that up on. It's a scene where Pee Wee Herman's cursing. I gotta check that out. But yeah, sorry I got to zoning out, rambling, reading about it. I grew up loving the Pee Wee Herman Show. It was one of the weirdest things that you watched and wanted not to look at but couldn't turn away from that I've ever seen in my life. Shout out Cherry, shout out Jambi, Mecca Lecca High, Mecca Low, if I'm not mistaken. You already know what it is, baby. Come on now, we ain't playing around here. They tried to literally tear him down as a person and a character. I'm not exactly sure why. In July 1991, he was arrested in Sarasota, Florida for enjoying himself in an adult theater. Detectives would periodically visit the theaters and observe the audience, arresting those who engaged in what these detectives consider indecent exposure. 3 other men were also arrested that night on similar charges. Don't quote me on this, but if you're going to enjoy yourself at an adult theater, wouldn't that be the place to do it? Like, are you not allowed to do that? So I feel like they claim that they would arrest people on indecent exposure, but you're in an adult theater. Like, how is that? Like, where is anything decent? I'm confused. But yeah, because of that, they tried to say he ended up losing his show when in actuality he was ready to quit. He had already quit. It's just a shame. Let's read on. Let's see what they say about his 1991 arrest. Rubens' infamous mugshot, which did not depict the clean-cut Ruben had shown for the last decade, shocked the public, and many thought the show had been canceled due to the arrest. In reality, the show had been canceled in 1990 due to a combination of multiple complaints of overworked crew members and feeling that the Pee-wee character had run its course, which ultimately resulted in Rubens deciding against the sixth season. However, due to its widespread popularity, CBS elected to run reruns Pee-wee in syndication. The arrest was widely covered, and both the character Pee-wee and Ruben became the subject of ridicule. CBS stopped airing Pee-wee's Playhouse, and Disney MGM Studios suspended from its studio tour a video that showed Pee-wee explaining how voiceover tracks were made, and Toys R Us removed Pee-wee's toys from its store. However, Disney's Star Tours, which featured voiceover work from Rubens, remained unaltered. Despite the negative publicity, many artists who knew Rubens, such as Cyndi Lauper, Annette Funicello, yeah, she was a Mouseketeer, Zaza Gabor, some actress named Valerie Golino, Valerie Golino. They all supported him. Bill Cosby, this hasn't aged well. Bill Cosby defends Rubens, saying whatever Ruben has done has been blown out of proportion. Shoe ass. Other people who knew Rubens, such as Playhouse production designer Gary Painter, and Big Top Pee-wee director Randall Kaiser, also spoke out against the way Ruben was being treated in the media. Excuse me. Rubens fans also organized rallies to support after CBS canceled the scheduled reruns, with several dozen of Pee-weeites picketing the Los Angeles, New York, and San Francisco. The general public also appeared to sympathize with Rubens. The TV news magazine, A Cultural Affair, received 10,000 of responses to Pee-wee's telephone survey, where callers supporting Rubens with a 9-1 majority. He remained in a state of shock for weeks and was haunted by the arrest for several years, refusing to give interviews or appear on talk shows. Yeah, that's tough. At the 1991 MTV Music Awards, Rubens made his first public appearance after arrest. So he was arrested in early July. MTV Awards, I wonder when that was. Taking the stage in the costume as Pee-wee, he asked the audience, "Heard any good jokes lately?" and received a standing ovation. Rubens responded with a, "Ha, that's so funny, I forgot to laugh." Pee-wee once more appeared in 1992 as he participated in a Grand Ole Opry tribute to Minnie Pearl. Rubens then avoided interviews, and according to the 1991 Rolling Stone article, had become very wary of the character and wanted to explore new territories. Yeah, of course he has other notches on his filmography. He was on The Dating Game. I'm gonna have to look up that Cheech and Chong situation. He did Pee-wee for a long time. He hosted Saturday Night Live. He had Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He had Pee-wee's Playhouse, which is what I grew up watching from 86 to 90. I definitely remember that. He was on 227. I remember that episode. He was on Sesame Street. He was in Moonwalker, the movie. Yeah, I'm gonna have to dial that up, baby. See, Pee Wee gets love, man. I just wanted to take this opportunity, take this time to say RIP to Mr. Paul Rubens. You made a major impact in this kid's life. I appreciate you. I thank you for your craft and sharing your gift with us, because you never had to do it and you did it because you wanted to. And I appreciate you for that, sir. May you rest in peace. Tell my pops I said what's up. And yeah, I guess that'll be bringing the podcast to an end, y'all. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate and I love y'all for staying locked in with your boy. Like, share, subscribe. Let your friends know. We on Spotify. The visuals are coming. The visuals is always on YouTube. You can find me on my YouTube page, or you can just look up Bird Looking Ass. My YouTube page, I believe, is under Ronnie P. RONNIE space P. I'm also on Snapchat, Rondough, and then I'm on Instagram, Parnell Shuttlesworth. I Twitch sometimes. I'm on Twitch under Rondough01. So, you know, I'm out here. We trying to get busy and stay busy, y'all. I appreciate it. For my man, it's your boy Rondough. Thank y'all for tuning in to the podcast. Bird Looking Ass. Catch y'all later on.